Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Bob Couture. Thanks for being on the show, Bob.
Thanks for having me, Whitney.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. And Bob is the managing partner of S&C Homebuyers, a real estate redevelopment company, S&C Property Management, a real estate management and apartment syndication company, and S&C Realty, a Massachusetts real estate brokerage. His focus is on sales, marketing, and business development. Well, Bob, give us a little more, your background and how you got into this thing called real estate and specifically the syndication business.
Sure, wonderful. So I'm originally from West Springfield, Massachusetts, so western part of the state, and I had moved out to California and a corporate guy for a while, and then I decided I was going to get out of the corporate business and get into house flipping. And when I looked around and to see what I could do with that, I decided I would take that back to Western Mass. I felt my dollars could go much further there, and so couple of years had gone by, I partnered up with another guy over there from the area. I continue to live in California, in Los Angeles, but then I would commute about once a month, and then my partner Justin would manage things on the ground. And then fast forward a couple of years, we come across I come across another guy out in California, in Los Angeles, in my hometown here, and his family had been doing syndications for 40 years, and he wanted to apply that model. He was doing some buy and holds up in Maine. He went to school in Massachusetts, so relatively familiar with Massachusetts, and had some roots there with his wife's family. And his problem is that he didn't have boots on the ground or any of the construction expertise or how to find those deals, but he had that model. My partner Justin had the construction expertise, and my job in all this was on the acquisition side. So I was getting pretty good at finding single family houses. I thought, well, these are just bigger, so let me give it a shot, and then thus this partnership was formed. We decided kind of before launching right into a syndication, we wanted to kind of test things out a little bit, and bought a 4-family house that we renovated, got tenants in, kind of work out some of the partnerships to see if really we could work together, and that went great. It had its challenges, but it ended up going pretty good. And then we launched into our first syndication. It was a small one, a 12-unit building. And I think this was somewhere around, maybe the acquisition was about $500,000, and we were able to sell the shares and get our subscribers. Was probably sold out in 72 hours. It was something like, I think we were more afraid to get going and not believing in ourselves, but once we put this forward, it went quick, and it was well received.
Nice. So, there sound like some key partnerships happened there, and you talked about how you all, tested that a little bit. And, could you go into a little more details about, testing that partnership before you all just jumped in, and how that worked? And because I know a lot of people, are worried about partnering with the wrong person or finding that right partnership, right? And I've seen it make and break, different companies. And tell me about how that worked for you all.
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that causes a lot of pain for a lot of folks. I think that the important thing for us was that it wasn't a group of guys that were friends and decided to come into a partnership. We had very distinct skills that were complementary to this, and it gave us all the opportunity to do the things that we were good at and that we like to do, and so that really helps. And I think really the only time where we get into some friction is when we're not staying in our specific lanes. But all in all, it had been good. Using that 4-family house was very good to get us to understand how each other operates, how we handled some of the challenges or setbacks or problems. And then I think through that, it was obvious that we could work together and that could solve problems together and move forward. So it went great. I think for us, I kind of look at it as 1 + 2 = 6 if it's the right partnership.
I like that. 1 + 2 = 6. Yeah, and I completely agree. And are there some maybe examples that you could elaborate on, or some type of difficulty you all had to work through that we should all expect in future partnerships?
Yeah. We would love everything to go exactly to the plan, and it doesn't. Construction doesn't always finish on time. Evictions or getting the specific rents that you're looking for doesn't always happen. The model doesn't always go to plan, and it's about not worrying so much about what that problem was, but looking ahead and how are we going to solve that. And what I really appreciate about my partners is that's the original mindset. How are we going to overcome this? Not about pointing fingers or what the problem was or crying over spilt milk. It's, hey, we've got to overcome this. We can, and let's open up our minds to some solutions.
So focus on how we're not going to spill it the next time, right? Instead of what's already been spilled. And I like that a lot. So, why don't you tell us about a recent syndication, that you all have worked on?
Our most recent one was our third one. It happened this summer. It was a 52-unit building in Springfield, Mass. And this one had some challenges in the sense that it was a fractured condo. So a fractured condo means that it was apartment buildings, but it had condominiums that were sold. And we had a really tough time finding a bank to join us in this venture. One, it was too big for some of our local banks, and then it was too small for a lot of the national lenders. So, and then when you mentioned fractured condo, that was a bad word to some lenders. They felt like, well, we don't have control of the whole building if we were to foreclose. So thank you, but no thank you. And but that was one that we felt like we could add so much value to this property. We felt we had differing kind of strategies, whether we could. There were two buildings together, or two buildings side by side rather. So we thought maybe if we couldn't get all those condos repurchased, there were 5 of them that were still left. If we couldn't get those repurchased, maybe we could convert that building to a condo. Or our ultimate goal was to buy all of those. Then we just all kind of came together, started dialing for dollars with various banks. Our investors felt confident in what our strategy was. It was just about finding the right lender.
So, how did you find that lender? Well, what did that look like when you all were, you found out that it was too big for some, too small for others? How did you find them?
Great question. So once we were doing our original ones with some local banks, and from there we kind of skipped over anything on the regional side. We went to the national banks, and then once we found out that was not going to work, it was too small. It was okay. Well, then we've got to look regionally, and then I think it came through courses of some referrals from some friends in the business, and we came across a great bank out of Boston, and they love the project, and they've been super partners with us throughout. So that was really good. We just never gave up. The choice was not to give up, and I think it probably had been 25 calls to different banks.
I like that. The choice was not to give up. I like that. It's a choice. So how did you find this 52-unit deal?
So this one was had been on the MLS. We had actually looked at it about 2 years before, and it was way overpriced for what we felt. There was and then we came back to it a few years later, 2 years later, and things as it was coming down and it had changed brokerages, and so some new marketing had given it new life. Some new things had happened to the building, where the owner was forced to put new steel staircases throughout. So that was about I think it costs her about $1 million on that. So it made the building much more attractive to us to not have to go through that and some other pieces. And we felt we could really add a lot of value. So that's a long way of saying we found it. It was listed.
Okay. And so what was it about this deal that stood out that, all these other deals you all, I'm sure, were looking at? What was it about this one that, when you came back to it, said, okay, we really want to pursue this one and our choice is not to give up?
Yeah. So on this is when we had made our plan for 2018, it was going to be that we were going to have 50 units. About 50 units was our goal. And that was either going to come in a collection of 20 plus units. And this one was attractive because we could hit our goal in one fell swoop. And it was right in Springfield, so it was right in the heart of our market. And then additionally, at this time, there was a casino that was being built in Springfield. And so this kind of the intersection of all of these things really made us feel like we could do it. And it was high. There was a high amount of construction that needed to be done. Roof, balconies needed to come off. A lot of vacant units, and we felt like that was right in our wheelhouse.
Are you tired of answering emails from investors about when they'll receive their K-1s? Let the real estate CPA handle the accounting and taxes on your next syndication, and they'll file your tax returns by March 15th so you can get your K-1s to your investors by the individual filing deadline on April 15th. Not only will this reduce headaches, but it will help you retain investors over the long term by improving investor experience. The Real Estate CPA is now offering a special virtual workshop to the listeners of the Real Estate Syndication Show on how to answer tax-related questions from your investors. Learn more today by visiting therealestateCPA.com/syndication. So tell us, where is that property now in your all's business plan, and what's your plan going forward?
So right now we are 6 months into this. The roof just got finished. So there was a great deal of masonry work on the top that needed to be done before the new roof, new roofs on each building were put on. So those just got completed before Christmas. And then we have gone through, we were expecting to do turn over 10 units in a course of a year. And we're already at 10 and about another 10 to go. So what's kind of changing things is we're very accelerated in our turnover plan. That's causing a little bit of tension on construction budget and other things. And that's kind of attributed to we were a little too successful with our evictions, which that doesn't often happen, but the current tenants are very happy with that, and they weren't paying, so it didn't hurt one way or another to get them out sooner. And then so now we just have some more units. We're kind of hitting at a good spot right now where we're about to get into this. By the time these units are done, will be spring, so we'll be able to have hopefully be able to capture higher market rents. So things are looking good. It's just we just had to look at what projects or what aspects of the construction that we needed to adjust to be able to handle some of these vacancies. Another thing that's forced us to do, we weren't planning on doing an entire building rent increase until deep into the spring but now we're going to do that earlier to help kind of catch up on some of the income.
Nice. So what's the hold period for this property? What's your all's plan long term?
So all of these that we get into are 10-year plan. And so the option would be if we get an unsolicited offer, that's great. If market conditions suggest that we sell, then we would look at that and then see if and see where the investors want to go, if they want to 1031 into another project, if this is something that the managing partners want to refinance and keep and pay off the investors. We've got a couple of different options, but that's another 9.5 years out.
Yeah. So what was the capital raise for this property?
capital raise, 1.5 million.
And does that include all the renovations also?
We did get some with the bank financing. There was a construction loan and also a line of credit to help us purchase some of the condos. Which, by the way, we've out of the 5 condos, fractured condos, we acquired 3. We have 1 under contract, and 1 is in some stage of foreclosure, so it might be a couple months out. But I think in 2019 we will have captured all of those.
Wow. Yeah. So how will that increase the value by having just those few extra units and having them all together?
But significantly. I mean, I don't know what that number value is, but we're getting the condos for just under what each unit was valued at, and then with some renovation and that additional income. Another value add to the building is these were all 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units, and they all can be converted to 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom.
Nice.
So we're about to test out a 3-bedroom unit and see if we're able to capture the targeted rent amount here. So we'll have to have a follow-up.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I was thinking though, even when you own all the units and it's not call it a fractured condo anymore, that it'd be easier to exit. Wouldn't you? Would you say it's easier? It would be easier to sell it, and to exit in 10 years or even sooner?
Absolutely. And may even give us the opportunity to refinance at this time, and maybe look at a national lender, or going back to our other lender. They had to put in some they had to kind of curtail some of their risk with the fractured condo. So they gave us a reasonable rate, but I think it could be much better when we own all of it. So things are looking pretty exciting there.
How much capital were you all expecting to put into each unit?
We're looking somewhere between the 10 and 25 mark. On some were really, really rough. Not too many at 25,000, but probably the average is in that 10 to 15,000.
Wow. So, to get up, even to 10 grand, what was the majority of the work that you all were doing?
So we had some, inside the units or overall. So overall, we had the roof, porches that had to come off. So that we are allocating to the porches off of the property to those units. Some units had some lead paint considerations, so that's a pretty big upper on it. Full bathroom remodels, the clawfoot tubs, subfloor just completely messed up. And then something very strange in some of these where in the bathrooms there was poured concrete in there and pipe over plumbing. And that was very odd. So now we had to jackhammer out all this concrete and get to there. So that was that wasn't too fun.
So did you all know about the concrete before you purchased it?
No.
Okay. So you can add that to your due diligence checklist, right?
Yeah, that's right. So ripping up bathroom floorboards, see if there's any concrete under there.
That's right. At least bang on the floor with a hammer or something. So awesome. So, going forward, what's the business plan on the syndication side? What types of properties, are you all looking to acquire next?
So the next one is, it will be a turnkey is what we're looking for right now. And ideally on-site management and maintenance. Because we still have a good 6 months of construction here, and so not to spread ourselves too thin, that would be the ideal. We have been looking at 100+ unit building, and that seems to be our MO. We started with a 12, then we went to 20, then to 52. So the next natural fit would be 100+. So that's the direction we're going.
So, break down a little bit, on the acquisition side, how you all are looking and finding deals, looking for.
Sure. We've been doing some direct mail to owners to see if that conversation is going, and that's helped us on two of our acquisitions.
Like how many letters are you all sending out?
Around the 200-300 mark, and pretty concentrated in the area. And looking at kind of specific styles, buildings, age, and then the specific cities by us.
Then where do you get your list to mail to?
There's some lists that are purchased. Some are just researched on the tax websites to see who those owners are, or those type of properties. Utilizing the MLS, the public records portion of that is pretty powerful for Massachusetts, and so that at least helps us identify what the properties are, and then try to go from there.
What does your mailer look like? How do you get them to open it?
It is very simple. It's just a letter going out, and if this is we're interested in discussing the purchase of XYZ property. We've have some relationships with local banks and have purchased property in the area. And if you'd like to talk, give a call. And as a house flipper, what I found very interesting is it's almost kind of the progression. I'll get sellers or owners of buildings call and say, I did the same thing you did. I used to be a house flipper. I would buy some buy and holds, and now I had apartments. It's like kind of like this welcome. Hey, how are you? You're on the right progression here.
Are you all able to track how well it's working? Like how many people are calling from how many letters you all are sending?
I should be doing that, and I haven't. I think in some of it is we've been fortunate, and that when we are getting the letters out, that we're striking with it. And then what we're finding with the apartment syndication on the house flipping business, we always have to keep mailing. But when the apartments come, once you get it, the energy's got to be focused. At least for us, our energy has to be focused there, not necessarily into the next deal until we get all that taken care of.
Yeah. So how many times have you all sent letters out, and are you sending it to the same list every time?
I've sent out probably about 5 different mailing campaigns. It has not been to the same list, and I'll be looking to do a new list here in the coming months. The other way we've been doing it is with since we've been buying the various properties and using some brokers as those broker relationships, and then also just talking to everyone, just letting everyone know, hey, this is what we're looking for, and putting it out into the world and to have it find us.
Nice. Well, Bob, what would you say has been the hardest part of the syndication process for you?
Oh, great question, Whitney. For me was on the capital raise and resting on verbal commitments. And when it came time that, okay, it's time to fund, life happens. Different opportunities will come across the various investors, and where they felt very strong, like this is where they were going to go a month ago, something different is happening, and they're focused somewhere else, and then we're left a little undersubscribed. So I think on that, what I've learned to do, or I'm trying to do moving forward, is oversubscribe. I think it's easier to ask investors to take 1 or 2 less shares than ask them to take 1 or 2 more.
So do you have any kind of rule of thumb where, how much you're over prescribing or subscribing?
We kind of split up the amount of shares and to go after between the partners. So it's a little bit of a competition there. So I'm going to, moving forward, I'm going to try to subscribe by at least 25%.
Nice. So what's a way that you all have recently improved your business that we can all apply to ours?
Well, that's a great one. We are starting to systematize more, and I think that's the piece where that seems to be much easier said than done. when you're just kind of in the midst of it and you're running every day, just kind of take that step back and think about the processes that we went through. Each deal has gotten better and smoother, but we're finding ourselves recreating the wheel on some aspects of it over and over again. So systematizing would be the piece.
Do you have a tool or a method or some way that you all have systemized something lately that we could all find or use?
We've been using Asana. So Asana has been pretty good and kind of a project management type of program, and that's helped us keep our tasks synced and communicating with the team. So that one's been working for us, and we've just scratched the surface on it. So I think there's probably a lot more that we could do there. I understand that a lot of folks use like Podio and things like that. So the tools like that have been good, but Asana's been working for us right now.
Is Asana a CRM also, or is it just project management?
I think it's more project management. They do show ways to use it as a CRM. I don't know if it's, I haven't looked back into it like that.
And what CRM platform do you use, if you use one?
Good old Excel.
Nice. So, Bob, what's the number one thing that's contributed to your success?
The partnership, partnering with the right folks. That it's that we are partnering based on our unique capabilities that we can bring to the table, and so I think that hands down. I feel like I could do probably any part of this business and I could do it all, but it would not nearly be as good or as quality as it is without Brandon or Justin. So I'd say partnering hands down.
Nice. Well, Bob, you've been a great guest. I really appreciate the content and the value you've provided to the listeners. And would you tell them how they can learn more about you and your company?
Thanks. Well, they could reach me. We always start the discussion via email if they'd like, at bob@SC-Homebuyers.com, or always call 413-314-3583. Happy to talk to any one of your guests, and thank you for having me on. This has been wonderful.
Great. Well, thanks again, Bob, for your time, and thanks to the listeners, for being with us today. And I hope you'll go to LifeBridge Capital and connect with me and schedule a call, and also go to our Facebook group where we can all learn in this business and grow our businesses together and learn from experts like Bob. Have a great day, and we will talk to each of you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by LifeBridge Capital. LifeBridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. LifeBridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.